Hey guys, it's the Comics Kid 2099 here, and this review was originally written as a sample for a website that asked for people interested in writing reviews for them to email them a sample review. I did this over a month ago, and since I did not get a reply back, I decided to go ahead and use the sample reviews on this channel. Monster Attack Network is a quick, fun adventure story by Mark Bernardin, Adam Freeman, and Nima Sorat, who bring us the story from AIT Planet Lar, which is a smallish indie company that I honestly hadn't heard of outside of this book, but judging by how much fun I had reading this story, I am eager to check out some of the other stories this company has put out. Too often I see creators trying to take a well-known idea from fiction and do it air quotes realistically. This usually means take out all of the fun and make it a really depressing read along the way and transform it into something entirely unrecognizable. Not the case with Monster Attack Network. They take the idea of giant monsters from Japanese films like Godzilla, and they say that if there was an island nation where monster attacks were common, like Japan seems to be in the Godzilla movies and the related films, then realistically there would be an agency that deals with removing the monsters and repairing the damage left behind by the monsters. Enter the Monster Attack Network. But this isn't just about exploring that concept. We also get a nice character story for a couple of our protagonists. Both of them have hidden depths that I did not see coming when I first began reading the book, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see where this story took both of them. Admittedly, one protagonist, Nate, he doesn't get quite as much of an exploration of who he is and what he's about as our other protagonist, Lana. But they both get very solid moments, and I am legitimately surprised with things that are done with both of them throughout the book. The story itself is fairly simple, and that's not really a problem. We know pretty quickly who the bad guy is, and we know what his plan is very early on. I've mentioned this before on this channel, but my creative writing professor used to say, keep it simple, stupid. Don't get bogged down trying to do things that nobody else has ever done before, because you'll just make the narrative more sloppy. And I do agree with this sentiment. But at the same time, I do wish that in a book that doesn't even clock in at 100 pages, that it could make me question who the villain is a little bit more. Perhaps that is just me wanting too much from this book. It does give me great, fully realized characters, and the concept we get here is fun and is explored pretty thoroughly. And I will say that while one of the bad guys is very easy to see coming, another is very much of a surprise, as is the relationship that that villain has with our protagonists. In fact, almost everything in this book is really excellent and is worthy to write home about. One small element in this book that I wish had been made a little more clear is probably something that was left unexplored simply because of the brevity of the story. At one point, we are told that the people of the island where this story takes place have a symbiotic relationship with the monsters. This implies that the people benefit from the presence of the monsters and the monsters benefit from the people. It is possible that this line was just thrown in there so that someone who reads this book about the government agency that deals with giant kaiju attacks won't shake their head and say, why don't these people just leave and go somewhere where monsters don't attack? And sure, that's a logical question, but then if you're going to say that the monsters and the humans need each other, I really wish we'd gotten an explanation. How do the monsters benefit from the humans? By eating some of them? More importantly, how did the humans benefit from the monsters? Just a small thing I would have liked to have seen explored, or at least quickly explained. The art here is very rough at times, and during some of the big action scenes, it was very hard for me to tell what was going on. But the scenes where the characters were standing still speaking to each other, I felt were very well portrayed, and I could tell that each character felt like a different person, and the men didn't all look the same with a slightly different haircut, as a lesser artist would have no doubt done. I will say, speaking from experience, this is not easy to do. Coming up with a unique look for every character is hard, and that's why when it's done right, I feel it should be applauded even if I don't always mention it. And as for the action scenes, I will say, as near as I can tell, this was Sorat's first outing as an artist, so I can only imagine that the art will improve the more we see from this artist. Overall, this book is a fast and very fun read. It packs the right amount of emotional punch and balances it with humor and quick action as well. It's a very engaging read I would recommend to fans of the old school monster movies and more modern day action movies alike. And that's about all I have to say about this book. I encourage you guys to find it and check it out because these smaller publishers often get overlooked for stuff put out by the bigger companies. And I don't just mean Marvel and DC. I don't want to tell you how you should spend your money, but if you are like me and you sometimes get frustrated with the lackluster output from some of the larger companies that always get the money of the fans no matter what they do, I would strongly recommend checking out a book like this, as it is definitely worth your dime, and it is going to the smaller people who work just as hard and for little to no recognition. Anyhow, I hope you guys found this review helpful, and I hope you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. In the meantime, I'll be back tomorrow with some other kind of video. Until then, I hope you guys have a great day.